wow, so you can see how different each whale really is. But did you know that there are even bigger differences in the wild? And would you be surprised if I told you that there are actually different kinds of killer whales? Yeah, scientists refer to them as ecotypes. They live in different habitats, they have different body types, and they even pursue different types of food. But even though killer whale ecotypes are different, they're also considered members of one single species, or Sinus orca. Now, one of those questions that we get asked all the time is, how big does a killer whale grow to be? Well, that would depend on which ecotype you're talking about. Is this killer whale a 16-foot female from Iceland, or have ever wanted to be an animal trainer? All right, wow, that's a lot of hands. Well, then I think you should meet our dedicated trainers that interact with our family of whales every single day. So take a look on our main stage. You'll see Mike. There's Connor. There's Christy again. And Amy. Now, our trainers are so passionate about what they do here every single day. And you know, that makes me think of another one of your really great questions. Do the trainers talk to the whales? Well, Christy, I'll let you answer that one.
Well, you know, Jenna, we don't talk to the killer whales like you and I talk to one another, so we train them hand signals. Now, this helps us to develop a very strong relationship that we have with each of these individual animals. Now, because of this connection, one of the things that we're able to do is answer important questions through research.
Here at SeaWorld, we have a unique opportunity to conduct research about killer whales, asking important questions that can only be answered in a setting like this. So much of what we learn here is being used to help killer whales in the wild. Of course, there are other questions that can only be explored by studying whales in the ocean. By exploring questions both at SeaWorld and in the wild, our combined research gives all of us a better understanding of killer whales and the places they live.
And well, that's what I call working together. Research flowing in both directions, from our park to the wild and back again. That way, everyone benefits. Okay, let's do another question. Perfect. This individual wonders why whales jump. Well, I just happened to that emoji. Look. And you know, killer whales communicate in a lot of different ways. Sometimes they vocalize, and sometimes they use their bodies. And a jump like that, it's called a breach. And they're making a sound on top of the water. Now, when a whale uses their bodies to slap the water, it really creates a commotion, both above and below the surface. Now, this could be just to show their excitement, or maybe to display a little power, or just get the attention of the other whales. Oh yeah, some of you may have heard about Kalia's new calf, Maya. Now here at SeaWorld, our social media fans actually helped us name her. And we're really lucky because we can watch every stage of birth from the very first moment.
As a calf grows and gains some independence, it is looked after by other whales in the pod too. They help the mother protect the calf, teach it survival skills, and show the calf how to romp and play. Killer whales live in family-like groups known as pods. Like human families, their pods can range in size from just a handful of whales up to a few dozen.
All right, well, this is another really important question. Does having a killer whale breeding program here at SeaWorld help whales in the wild? Absolutely. Our successful breeding program helps us understand the developmental needs of pregnant mothers and newborn calves, and even young killer whales. And that's critical information because it's the time when killer whales are most vulnerable in the wild. And gaining this kind of knowledge is only possible
SeaWorld worked with
through our
researchers
research.
from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, to help them develop a model for identifying when a killer whale is pregnant by looking at aerial images of the animal in the wild. Prior to this cooperative effort, where SeaWorld provided direct, unparalleled access to our pregnant whales, researchers had no solid way of knowing whether or not a female in the wild was carrying a calf.
Oh, wow. Well, that's a lot of questions, but believe it or not, we get them here every day.
We sure do. You know, killer whales communicate using all sorts of sounds. Let's listen. No, each kind of killer whale, each pod has their own dialect, their own sound. But don't forget, they also use body language.
Yeah, sometimes they blow bubbles or bump into each other or even scratch each other with their teeth, causing something called rake marks. Well, those are the multi-layer marks that you might see on the skin of killer whales and dolphins. And that's just one of the ways that they display dominance over each other during social interaction, both in the wild and here at SeaWorld. So we've just learned that killer whales vocalize and use body language to communicate with each other. But you guys know how we communicate with them?
Wow, he's big.
That's right, we use signals. And here at SeaWorld, we really do communicate with our whales, and we want future generations to be able to do the same.
Two volunteers that are going to be helping us out. On the left-hand side with Mike is Jake. Wave hi to everyone, Jake. Everyone say hi, Jake. And on the right-hand side is Ben. Everyone give Ben a nice wave hello. Excellent. Well, Ben and Jake are going to be giving the whales some hand signals, and let's see how they do. So it looks like Jake's offering Shuka fish. And over on the right-hand side, a nice wave back from Corky. Nice job, you two. Let's see if Shuka wants, okay. All right, this is fun. Let's see what Ben's doing. Looks like we got a little dance going on over here. Very nice. And you know what would really help out? Shuka's trying to focus on one of the kids. If the other kids can sit down, that'd be great. Or not. Oh, yeah. And it looks like Corky has a nice splash for Ben. Well, Jake and Ben, thank you so much for helping us out today. Now, we'd like for you to remember your interaction with Shuka and Corky. So we have this nice whale tail for both of you. Let's hear it one more time.
Chrissy, maybe we have some future animal trainers on our hands, huh? You guys think they did a good job? Awesome. Okay, well here's a great question. Oh, who takes care of you, Shamu? I love that question because it allows us a chance to show you how much we really care about these extraordinary animals. So, Chrissy, are our trainers ready?
We sure are. You know, when the killer whales learn to interact and participate in their own health care, it helps us to take better care of them. Now you can notice that Amy's asking Corky for a fluke present. She lines up her body and offers her tail flukes. Now there's a vein that goes by each fluke, and we can take an approximation or a step-by-step process to have our veterinarian come in and take a blood sample. Now the slide-out behavior that Shuka's doing, although impressive for all of you, this is a husbandry behavior. When she does this behavior in the back, on a big scale, we can weigh her every week to determine that she's getting the proper nutrition and to ensure that our calves are growing properly. Now the behaviors that you've seen so far in the presentation, such as bows and breaches, are behaviors that killer whales do here at SeaWorld and also in the wild. These types of behaviors ensure that they get the proper exercise they need each and every day. And here's one of the most athletic whales we have. Performing a behavior called a front flip. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, here's Shuka.
And I know that our guests probably also wonder, well, how much does a killer whale need to eat every day to stay healthy?
A lot. You know, just like you and I, we have different dietary needs. Depending on the individual whale would determine on the amount of food that they receive. Now, Maya, who's our baby at just 9 months old, has just started to eat fish. She's eating 5 pounds every day, but all of her nutrition comes from her mom. And our 2 killer whales in front of you are a great example of differences. Shuka on the left is just 5,000 pounds. She eats about 100 pounds each and every day. And Corky on the right is over 8,000 pounds. So she eats about 130 pounds each and every day. Now it's really important to note that regardless of what the animals do, whether just interacting with us in a show environment, exercising or learning a new behavior, they're going to get all of their food regardless of what they do throughout the day.
And because we've been able to determine how much killer whales eat throughout different stages of their life, researchers in the field are able to determine if ocean habitats are healthy enough for killer whales to thrive. And that type of information is invaluable.
You know, food, exercise, and physicals from our veterinarians aren't all our killer whales need. Each whale's well-being is very important to us. So we want to make sure we keep them stimulated and their minds challenged. If you take a look up at the big screen, you can see some of the toys that we give the whales. These just happen to be their favorite. They have large boat straps on the end. We can also bring kelp from Mission Bay. And of course, we can make some gelatin that doesn't contain any sugar for the whales to play with. Now, all of these different things that we offer the whales is a way for us to build our relationship. Now what I mean by that is the trust and respect that we have with each whale. You can see Amy's down at the glass with Corky. This is one of her favorite things, a nice back rub and a dorsal fin rub. They do have very soft and sensitive skin and seem to enjoy our touch. We can also teach a whale a new behavior, just hang out with them or offer them a toy. Now with all the puzzles and games that we provide, we have found the best enrichment for our 11 killer whales is a social interaction with one another and of course with our experienced trainers.
All right, well here's a question for all you kids out there, because I know that you want to know, well, who would win if a killer whale squared off with a great white shark? So let's take a poll. Raise your hands if you think the great white shark would win. Okay, a couple hands. Now raise your hands if you think the killer whales would win. Yeah, that's right, killer whales. You see, a killer whale hunts with a whole pod versus a shark that hunts alone, so it's not even a competition. You know, killer whales have even been known to hunt a blue whale. Do you guys know how big a blue whale is? Well, at well over 80 feet, it's the largest animal ever to exist on our planet. The killer whales can hunt these huge animals because they coordinate, they collaborate, and they cooperate. Yeah, they work together as a group to overcome challenges much bigger than themselves. And you know, I think that we can learn a lot from killer whales on how to overcome challenges that our ocean faces. Maybe if we work together, we can change the fate of the ocean and even the world. Oh, all right, so here's some more questions, and you know, these are some of the really common ones that always come in. So here we go, first question. Why do some dorsal fins curve? Well, that's a great question. You know, dorsal fins lack any sort of skeletal support, such as bones or cartilage to support their height and weight. They're completely made up of something called connective tissue. So if an animal spends more time at the surface, over time, impressive. Okay, now, how much water can their tails splash? Well, their tails, our flukes as they're called, are really strong and can fling a whole lot of water about halfway up these stands. So, last question. Ooh, if all the whales splashed at once, could they get the whole audience wet? Maybe not the whole audience.